Welcome to the Snakebite, your home for all things Florida Southern College athletics, where we bring you inside access into the world of moccasin athletics. Here are your hosts, Andrew Polling and George Connolly.
Good afternoon and welcome to the first Snakebite in 335 days. Alongside George Connolly, I'm Andrew Polling, and today we're going to take a look at the first Moccasins action of the semester. The women's basketball team returned to action over the weekend, splitting a pair of games against the Florida Tech Panthers. In their 74-43 victory on Sunday, Mackenzie Steele poured in a career-high 27 points, going 7 for 8 from three-point range. Our own Kenzie Council caught up with head coach Betsy Harris on Zoom yesterday. Here's what she had to say about her team's return to action.
So, Coach, after the over 300-day break, what was the atmosphere in the locker room after the win on Sunday?
Well, they sent us to the six-man room, so we weren't allowed to go in our locker room. We've got a lot of rules we have to abide by, but everybody was, really excited. We felt like on Friday in that loss, it was a letdown. There was a lot of nerves because it has been 11 months. We've been through a lot of adversity, just like everybody else has. We had just come off a 10-day quarantine. So, that was tough with 3 days of practice. But I thought the girls played really hard on Friday. We played really hard yesterday. We were due that win. I think they definitely deserved it. We're still waiting to get, one of our best players back. Hopefully we'll get her back next time. So for the girls to pull off what they did yesterday and in such high fashion the way they did, it was a pleasant surprise and it was fun to watch.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So after the layoff, during the layoff, what were ways that you kept the girls motivated?
Well, I tell them if you can't, we try to find that bright light somewhere. And if you can't find it, you make it. You find it, like you bust through that darkness and you pull that light out. And we just make the best out of everything. And they were together. So they did, they have to stay 6 feet apart. They still have to wear their mask. But they could still do things together with some team bonding things because they were pretty much sit in the nice wilderness for this. But, I believe everything happens for a reason. I think there was a reason for them to be where they were at that point in all of our lives. I think it's just going to help us in the long run. And that's just how we think of things. I wake up in the morning expecting the bad. But my attitude is a smile and we're going to punch it in the face because that's what we've been used to. We've been used to so much adversity that when the good does happen, like, that win yesterday, it's such a relief and it's nice. But then we wake up into reality and it's like, all right, something bad could happen at any time. And some people may think that's a bad attitude, but it's not. It's just tackling this next situation because I want the girls to always be ready and not to have letdowns and just to take a hold of things. And instead of letting something else determine our destination, let us just tackle that and let us determine our own destination.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you so much, Coach, and good luck to the rest of the season.
All right. Thank you.
Our thanks again to Coach Harris for taking the time to speak with us.
With the first 2 games of the year in the books, FSC Athletics will begin to roll out schedules for other teams who will compete this spring. Here is what Athletic Director Drew Howard had to say about the return to play during his halftime interview with Jim Henderson from Friday night's game.
There was something about tonight, just that first time, seeing the tip go, seeing the first 3 go in, it just feels good to be back playing some college basketball.
Well, speaking of basketball, you got a lot of other sports here. So how's that going to work? Or do you know yet?
Well, we have 550 student athletes at Florida Southern College, and
they're not all basketball players.
They're not all basketball players. No, so we've put together, in my opinion, a strong policy and procedure for all of our sport teams to be able to participate. We're testing across the board, all of our sports. They have different testing levels depending on the contact risk and all that, but we certainly are trying to schedule, and pretty much every sport is going to have a reduced, condensed schedule.
Okay.
But everybody, if all continues to hold well, we're going to see schedules for all of our spring sports coming out next week.
Okay.
We're going to have a lot of positive things, and we're going to be really, really busy in the month of March. 'Cause we're going to have
that
some,
used to be spring break, right?
Yeah,
There's no spring break for anybody here, it
no
sounds
spring
like.
break. Yeah, but the month of March and April, we're going to be really busy. But, compared to what we've had the last 337 days, it's going to be a really good busy.
You'll take it.
For the most up-to-date scheduling information, head to fscmocs.com. Now, Andrew, we were both fortunate enough to be in the Fieldhouse for a few games over this weekend. Can you take us through the environment and what it was like to be in the Fieldhouse once again?
Well, first and foremost, we definitely miss the fans, and it wasn't the same without them, and we look forward to their eventual return. But the players brought this just boundless energy that was from top to bottom, start to finish of both games. There were masks, there were protocols. It was different, but it was good. It was a great experience. It was awesome to just be back in that work environment. We know the players enjoyed it. We know they enjoyed especially that win on Sunday, but even on Friday with the loss. That was a huge win for the athletic department as a whole, for the college as a whole. We have to give the credit to Drew and Jill Stevens and Dr. Kerr and everyone involved on the administrative end, because they've worked tirelessly. They've been in hundreds of Zooms over the past 300 plus days to make this possible, and it's because of their efforts on the administrative end that our athletes are now getting that chance to compete again here this spring.
Absolutely. It cannot be stressed anymore how hard everyone has worked to put this all into motion and put it back together. So it's been great to see. Now, Andrew, we spoke about the women's basketball team splitting games. It was a pretty different story from Friday and Sunday. Can you talk about how each of those games transpired?
Well, Friday's game was a lot closer. They were in it till the end, and then Sunday's game, obviously, with the 30-plus point blowout, a lot more in favor of the Mocs. They lost by just 7 on Friday. Mackenzie Steele led all scorers in both games. 18 points Friday, 27, a career high on Sunday. She had a career high 14 rebounds on Friday as well, so career highs in both games for different stats. She went 7 of 8 from three-point range on Sunday. Who does that? It just doesn't happen. But then, the team was missing Julia Jenicky, and they still had a great showing in both games. They came up a little short Friday, but both games were great all-around team games. They're hoping to have Julia back by their next games. Sonia Ratnikava, Marta Aranda, Ashley Schell, they all had double-digit scoring efforts in at least one of those games. So from top to bottom, the lineup looked good.
Absolutely, and like you said, Julia not in the lineup. It was still a complete team those last 2 games without Julia, so we're definitely excited to see her back in the lineup. And as of Monday night, the next scheduled games for the Mocs are a women's and men's swim meet, and that is against Tampa on Friday, as well as men's and women's basketball, which is upcoming on Monday against Barry. So from a scheduling standpoint, this won't be standard. It's not every game is scheduled, and it will absolutely be played. So what can we expect from a scheduling standpoint?
The word of the semester is flexibility. That applies to every athlete at every school, and professional, college, high school, middle school, T-ball. It doesn't matter. The word right now is flexibility. And so for basketball, they're doing home-away series. Instead of the teams traveling together and these double headers with a women's game followed by a men's game, on Monday, it's going to be one of the teams are playing at home. I believe it's the men at home, and then the women are away at Barry. For the swim meet, it's a little different. They're still going to have the women and the men swimming at the same pool. That's going to be here at the Wellness Center pool on Friday. And, we're still waiting for other schedules to come out for other teams. That's all coming out as it can. And, on the athletic comm side, we know John and Chris are working as hard as they can to get those schedules out. A lot of it's just waiting on approval. And, hey, there could be a game tomorrow that gets canceled, or it could be Monday and they add a game on Wednesday. That's how things are going to go. As athletes, we're used to having this very structured schedule. You have to be willing to go with the flow a little bit here this spring.
Absolutely, and in that response, you brought up men's basketball, and if anyone watched men's basketball here at FSC at all last year or watched any of the coverage, you've heard the name Brett Hansen, a great player, an all-time player in Florida Southern. So could we talk about Brett Hansen, who signed a pro deal in Spain just a few weeks ago? What does this mean for Brett? Well,
that's an amazing accomplishment for Brett. D2 Player of the Year last year, 2,000-plus career points. He joins this strong core of recent alumni to sign professional deals, some of which being overseas. Jack Roush signed overseas, Camille Giardina, Slinky Jones, Ben Morella, Anya Fuchs-Robertin, Jonathan Lawton are all recent alumni to sign professional contracts. And, of course, Emma Cannon re-signing with the WNBA with the Las Vegas Aces a couple of weeks ago as well. That just shows you the strength of both programs from top to bottom, men's and women, that they both have multiple professionals in the past 5 years that are now, playing on at the next level.
Absolutely. So great to see from all the programs here at FSC. So thanks for all that, Andrew. And as we wrap up the show, several moccasin teams and student athletes have been ranked in preseason polls for their respective sports. Head to fscmocs.com to check out those accolades. And that is all from us this week on the Snakebite. I'm George Connolly.
And I'm Andrew Pauling. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week at 5.